anger, separation, discrimination, insults, violence. These are all byproducts of racism. For almost as long as man has inhabited Earth, our kind has a disregard for our fellow man based on their race. In this film, we will explore racism from a sociological perspective by drawing from scholarly sources and conducting interviews with Oregon Tech students to gain a better overall knowledge on the topic of racism. Symbolic interactionism is defined as explaining people's behavior in terms of what it means to them or what meaning they place onto an action or object.
I kind of get upset, kind of sad, I guess, just because people they think of me in of a different way, not equal, but just as someone who's different, against me.
I really don't have no feelings towards it. It's 2014. I should feel like racism should be in the past, in the 60s and shit. So
I don't know. I just don't really like them, I guess. I don't view them as any different other way. I just don't like the way that they're acting. And it makes me think about the way that they're taught, how they got to that point.
childish, immature, need to grow up, just selfish. You know what I'm saying?
Racism is often a learned practice, says author Tahar Ben-Jaloun. He says people raised in an environment where racism is normal allows prejudice to become an integrated part of their life without thinking about it. It's not so much a choice as it is a subconscious part of themselves. Functionalism looks at what function a social issue serves in society, for better or worse.
I don't think it really serves any purpose. It shouldn't really be there in the first place.
It doesn't. Straight out.
It harms society because it's just hurting other people's feelings, and it's putting other ideas into people's minds, thinking that they're better than someone else when they're really not. We're all equal.
It tears us apart as a human society, try to split us up into different groups.
From the book Discourse and Discrimination by Rezegel and Wodak, it is stated that from a functional point of view, race has been used as a tool to oppress and exploit specific social groups and deny them access to resources. But race has also been used by the affected groups to turn the same concept into a way of constructing an alternative, positive identity and a basis for political resistance. Conflict theory states that inequality exists because of a disproportionate share of resources between classes and a desire to hold on to those resources or to gather more. Essentially, looking at a situation by seeing who is gaining from inequality is conflict theory.
No one. I don't think. Maybe the person here is being racist is feeling good about themselves, but that's it.
No one. I'm gonna get mine regardless. No one's gonna stand in my way. I don't care what your skin color is.
From the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology article on white opposition to desegregation busing in the 70s, certain white Americans were unsupportive of mixing races of students due to a perceived threat to their own interests by blacks. This example, as well as many other situations, shows that conflict between races can often be a result of stubbornness to change or losing a perceived higher rank than someone else on the social pecking order. In learning about racism, it's important to note the difference between overt racism, as in racism that is easily recognizable, and subtle racism, like confusing race for culture or interacting with someone differently solely based on their race.
I think it used to be more upfront, but now it's more subtle, just because it's not really, it's looked down upon now. So I think people are more subtle about it because they don't want to look bad in front of anybody.
It's definitely more subtle behind the scenes.
The effects of racism reach nearly every human on Earth. There are no races excluded from its effects. Whether the act is obvious to see, such as an insult or racially driven violence, or it is more subtle and harder to recognize, it is harmful all the same. Is race really just a part of human nature and to be accepted as a reality? Or can we as a people rise above it and move forward into a better future?